Hello, guys. I used to be a distance runner, in case you haven't noticed. And I was wondering why was it that I was good at running, but I wasn't good at cycling? Because I thought, oh, they're two like forms of cardiovascular fitness. Surely they should be linked. But the thing is, I'm going to tell you now, they're not. They are kind of linked in a way. In other ways, they're not really. Okay. Now the big difference is the muscles. Okay, you use different muscles for cycling than you use for running. Okay, it's very different. Yeah, so look, let's say you have a background in cycling, you're a very high standard athlete, you're elite level, and you get bored of it and you quit and you want to get into running. Okay, yes, the fact that you were an elite cyclist is a massive advantage because it means your lungs are strong, you have that cardiovascular fitness. Okay, but the problem is the muscles in the legs. Okay, so you go out running, then your legs are going to be like, oh, what's this? I'm not used to doing this, and that's a problem. Okay, so I decided to go for a bike ride yesterday. You know, and I went out to Hove, and yeah, so I noticed that I was cycling at a kind of pace that felt quite slow. Um, and my legs were kind of hurting. I felt like I couldn't move them any quicker. But the thing is, my heart rate was very low. That's one thing you gotta remember. So yeah, if you're a cyclist and you get into running, if you run, say, let's say 4 miles on your first go, and your heart rate is really low, but your legs are hurting, yeah, it's because you don't have that balance, you know. Um, so yeah, Lance Armstrong, you might have heard of him. He ran, he won 7 Tour de France's, and people say, "Oh no, he didn't. He was doping. They took them all away." Well, in my mind, he still won those because pretty much everybody else was on drugs. And so yeah, 2005 was the last year that he won Tour de France. 2006, he decided to run the marathon. I can't remember. Was it Boston? I can't remember. Or maybe it was New York. But anyway, he ran 2:59. 2:59. Okay, like you'd expect it, or with his cardiovascular fitness, you'd think he'd be running like 2:03, 2:04. But no, it's very different. He doesn't have the muscle in the legs to run as impressive a marathon time as he did in cycling. You got to keep that in mind. Otherwise, I think he quit running after that. I think his ego probably couldn't handle it. He probably thought, "Oh, this is my thing." Well, I feel like maybe if he stuck with it, he could have ran some decent marathon times. Certainly, at least go sub 2:20. You know, um, whether or not at that age he'd be able to get down to as a high level as he did as a cyclist is doubtful. But I don't know. I definitely think he'd at least go 2:15 if he kept at it. All right. Um. So anyway, um, what was I going to say? Marathons. Okay, I'm going to change topic a little bit here now. Marathons. Okay, so personally, I think if you're a beginner runner, running the marathon is the worst thing you can do. Okay, so you know, I think a lot of like these overweight people, these slower runners, they run the marathon. They're doing it just for egotistical reasons because they go around telling people, "Oh, I run the marathon," and they go bragging about it. Well, if you go up to them and say, "Well, what time do you run?" and he said, "Oh, well, that doesn't matter. I finished. That's the important thing." No, what time do you run? "Oh, I ran 5 hours," and they say, "5 hours, sure. The winner ran it in 2 hours." And you finish near the back of the pack. That doesn't mean you're a winner. If people start saying that to them, I guarantee they'd all just quit. Or 95% of them would just quit. Okay? So, a lot of them, they find it painful, they hate doing it, they just do it anyway. And I believe it's just for egotistical reasons. So I'd say, look, if you're overweight, if you're a slow runner, I still think you should be welcome into the sport of running, but you shouldn't be running marathons. You should start off with a shorter distance. Okay? Now, maybe like a mile or a 2 mile or 3K or 5K, somewhere down there. Like the way when you're a young athlete, you might run, say, I don't know, 3 kilometers in cross country. On the track, you might run the 8 and 1500. And you start off the shorter distance and you move your way up. I feel like this whole idea of just running a marathon for the sake of running a marathon is just stupid. Like, I can't understand it. All right, and what else was I gonna say now? So yeah, you should be able to. Expected to get a certain time over a shorter distance before you move up a distance. So maybe break 8 minutes in the mile before you move up to the 2 mile or the 3K. If you know what I mean, okay. And if you think about marathons, really, um, um, they disrupt traffic in major cities for hours on end. You know, the guys coming last, finishing like 8 or 9 hours or something crazy like that. And so what they're doing is you're pretty much disrupting traffic. The slower runners are disrupting traffic in major cities for over twice as long as the more competitive runners, or 3, 4 times as long as the more competitive runners. If you're running 7 or 8 hours for a marathon, you're not really that serious about it, are you now? You know, you haven't really committed yourself properly the last few years, have you now? No. So yeah, nothing wrong. And not only are you disrupting traffic, you're also wasting the steward's valuable time. Maybe they've got other plans. Maybe they want to train themselves. Maybe they have family obligations. So yeah, even if it takes you 20 minutes to cover a mile, well, you're not going to take up a huge amount of a certain um, official's time or steward's time. So yeah, start off with a shorter distance and move your way up. Okay, and people complain that, oh, somebody was giving out to us because we were running fucking 8 hours in a marathon. But we didn't have time to train. It's like, well, if you didn't have time to train, well, you're not committing yourself to running. So like, I just really don't understand. I think it's a massive sense of entitlement. And personally, I don't think marathons should be ran in cities. I think that's really stupid. Disrupting traffic in a fucking major city for fucking 8 hours because of some overweight guys who don't even train. Like, it's ridiculous. Like in the old days, before the Dublin Marathon, there used to be the All Ireland Championships, which were held in Tullamore, awfully. Tullamore is, a lot smaller than Dublin, and from the photographs I've seen, it was held on the outskirts of the town, like on the country roads. So yeah, look, if you're running a marathon on country roads, there's minimal disruption, very minimal disruption, when there's very minimal activity going on there anyway. Maybe the odd person walking home from school or the odd person driving home from work. It's not a major disruption compared to when you're running through city streets. So I think, yeah, marathons should be held out in the countryside. Okay, it's just I think there's a sense of entitlement among the running community these days. You even see runners running on the roads, like the side of the road, when there's a fucking when there's a footpath provided. It's like they run there because, well, oh, the tarmac isn't as rough on your knees or anything. It's like, but like there's a footpath provided. You're running on a very busy, crowded street like that road. That's just wrong, I think. Yeah, look, why fucking, if that's the case, if you like running on tarmac, well, maybe go out to the fucking countryside. Like, stop being so self-entitled. Yeah, like, if you live in the countryside, minimal traffic, there's no footpaths provided on some country lanes. So, drivers have no right to give out to you if you do run on the side of the road. So yeah, do you have anything else to say in this matter? No, I think that's everything.